Okay, so now we are going to take a closer look at variables. What is a variable? A variable is a container for storing data. In Python, you don't need to declare the type of a variable. It is dynamically assigned. So points to note in variables, and failure to do so, an error will occur. Okay, so if we do not follow these rules, then we are going to have an error when it comes to variable naming. Okay, so number one, it must start with a letter or an underscore. Okay, however, the underscore is not recommended. Okay, but we will look at that in the recommendations. Number two, cannot start with a number. It cannot start with a number. Okay, number three, it can only contain letters, numbers, and underscore. Number four, spaces are not allowed in variable names. So five, Python is case sensitive. That is, this age here and this age are different. Okay, so we will look at that. Variable names cannot be Python keywords. We are going to see also what Python keywords are. And then finally, special characters are not allowed in variable naming. Okay, all right. So let's go to the other side and take a closer look at it. All right. So now we are going to continue with variables. We said we can use variable to store information and reuse it again. Okay, so now let's click that and start. So one of the first rule is that start with letter and also underscore, right? So let's say name here, okay, is equal to. So now I'm going to store my name under names, right? Here. So now I'm going to put in my name, Ibrahim, okay? And now I can come here and print bracket open bracket close, print my name, and you can see amazing, right? So now I have stored my name here. Okay, all right. We also said we can start with underscore. So here I can just come here and put an underscore here, and I can come here and put an underscore. Now you can see I have no error. However, we are told according to the Python recommendations that we should not use underscore, although we are not going to have an error when we use it. Okay, so now I'm just going to remove that, and I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so this is important to note. Okay, all right. Another thing is we are told spaces are not allowed. So let's go ahead and prove that. I'm gonna say f name is equal to, okay, and I'm gonna put a name here. Let's say John, for instance. John, that's what came to my mind. And now I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna try and print f name. Okay, so now once I do that, I have an error, right? So what did we say? We said spaces are not allowed. All right, let's continue. Another rule is Python is case sensitive. So what is case sensitive? So let me just say here FIRST, and I'm gonna say this is equal to, and inside strings, let me just go ahead and put my name again. Okay, I love my name. So I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna try to print this. Okay, bracket open bracket close, but now see the F, I'm gonna make it capital. Okay, so I'm now gonna put FIRST. Okay, so now let's look at this. You can see I have a name error. Why? Because Python is case sensitive. Why is this FIRST is not the same as this cap F and IRST in lowercase? Why is that? The reason is to avoid accidental variable usage, Python decided to make it case sensitive. Okay, all right. So now let's go in and check another thing, and it says Python keywords cannot be used, right? There are 35 of them, and you can see them on the screen there. Okay, so now let me just use one of them. Let's say if is equal to. So if is a keyword in Python that we have to know, and we are going to know it later on. So now I'm just going to put in my name again. I love my name. And now I'm going to come here and try to print it out. Bracket open, bracket close. And I'm going to input F here, if, and see, I have an error. So this is not allowed. Again, another one is special characters are not allowed. So let me just paste this thing here, and you can see here first, and immediately after that you can see at, and if I load this you can see we have an error. So remember we said we have rules that we must follow, without which we will always and always have an error. Okay, now we are going to take a closer look at the recommendations. These are not enforced by Python, but are recommended for writing clean and maintainable code. So, if we follow these recommendations, we will be able to write clean and maintainable code. However, we are not going to get an error, but it is important to follow them so that we can write clean and maintainable code. So number one is use meaningful and descriptive names. Okay, so the names must be meaningful and descriptive. So avoid single letter names except for for loops variables. Okay, so we're going to talk about for loops later on. So follow snake case for variable names. We're going to see that. Okay, so also use lowercase letters with underscore between words. For example, if you're going to create a variable called username, so you're going to say user underscore name, or total price, you can say total underscore price. Okay, all right. Remember, you cannot leave a space here between them. Okay, total and price, there cannot be a space between them. Okay, number 4, use uppercase letters for constants. Okay, so this is important to note. If you have constant, for example, let's say pi, we know is 3.142, and also let's say you have a max speed that you don't want anybody to pass. Okay, when you are creating your own games, then you can do something like that. Okay, so it has to be in all uppercase letters. Okay, all right, with underscore. Okay, number 5, avoid using names of built-in functions. Don't use names like the print function, the input function, the sum, etc. Okay, they are all built-in functions in Python. Number 6, do not start variable names with an underscore unless needed. Okay, remember we talked about that in the enforce rules. Okay, it says that you can start with an underscore, but I did mention that it is not recommended. So okay, let's go to the other side and take a closer look at it. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the recommendations. Okay, so now Python said, let us use the snake case method. For example, username. So you can say user and underscore. Let me change that. User underscore name, for example, is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and put my name there, Ibrahima, for instance. Okay, and I can come down here and let me go ahead and print username. So let me say user underscore name. So look at it, Ibrahima. Also, for example, let's say last name. I can say last underscore name is equal to, and now I'm going to put in my last name and I'm going to say JALLOW. And now I'm going to come down here and I am going to go ahead and print it out. Okay, so last name. So now let's load this and see. You can see, so this is recommended. Okay, so another thing is it says avoid built-in function. Okay, there are normally 71 built-in functions as of this video is being recorded. Okay, so avoid them. You can see some of them on the screen. And another thing is constant should be in caps. Okay, so now let's look at the constants. For example, let's say pi. We know pi is a constant and we can make it in caps. Okay, so constant should be in caps. So I'm going to say 3.14. Okay, also let me just come and print pi for now. Print bracket open bracket close, and I'm going to input pi here and I'm going to load it. Okay, all right, so maybe max speed or top speed. Let's just say top here. For instance, top underscore, let's say speed is equal to, okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and give a top speed. For example, let's say 100. Okay, so now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to print bracket open bracket close, and I'm going to say, for instance, top, it should be all in caps, top underscore speed. Okay, so remember we said the constant, okay, or the constants should be in caps. So this is super important to note. Or this we can say, let's say max value instead of top speed. Let's say max underscore value, and I can come down here and I can also change this thing. Okay, max underscore value. Okay, remember it says the names, okay, the names of the variable, they must be descriptive, right? So here Username, okay, you can say it is descriptive. Last underscore name, that is my last name, is descriptive. You can see pi is descriptive. So this is super important to note. Okay, so now go ahead, pause the video. Okay, make some errors. It's always fun to make some errors. You can say, okay, I'm frustrated, I'm this, I'm that, but go ahead, make some errors. Okay, we're going to look at that later on, some of the errors that we are going to be faced with in this lesson that we have done so far. But we are going to continue now and go and take a closer look at the data types in Python. So see you on the other side.